I've been thinking a lot lately about how tired we all are. And over the last few years, I have started noticing how even the smallest parts of life have trained us to rush. Take something as simple as going to the grocery store. You put your things on the belt, the cashier starts ringing them through, faster than you can keep up. And suddenly you're trying to bag everything as quickly as possible because someone is waiting behind you and the cashier is on the clock. Somehow, a simple trip for groceries has become our race. And I think that is how so many of us are living now, always moving toward the next thing, always trying to keep up, never fully where we are. We are getting through life, but we are not always present in it. It's like we have become background characters in the movie of our own lives. And when we spend years operating that way, it is no wonder that so many of us are walking around burned out, on edge, bone deep tired that no amount of sleep can fix, angry, zoned out, or simply surviving. So, how did we all get here? I think it comes down to the story we've been handed. The narrative that our worth is measured by how much we produce. Now, I'm all for goals. I've always been a goal-driven person myself. But lately, I have been really questioning the hustle and grind of it all and what it costs us. Because once you notice it, you start to see it everywhere. You are told that owning a home is a sign of success, so you chase it. You want a vacation, so you work more to earn the time away. We praise the degree as if it is proof of worth. And early on, we ask our children what they want to be when they grow up. The seed is planted. So we spend years, sometimes decades, climbing that staircase of career and success. And when someone finally gets the promotion or the raise, we celebrate it as though that is the thing that makes a person valuable. But here is the strange part. People go to school for years, stay in jobs for decades, and still find that none of it brought the happiness they thought it would. And still we celebrate those statuses far more than we celebrate the simple things. The things we so often overlook. And I think somewhere in all of it, we have lost our dedication to self. We're so busy producing and doing and keeping up for everyone else that we have become disconnected from who we really are. We forget that we are even allowed to choose those things just because they bring us peace. Not out of duty, not to get ahead, just because we want it. And that is a kind of freedom most of us have stopped giving ourselves. None of us are completely immune to it. In one way or another, most of us have been taught that if we are not pushing, striving, and running ourselves into the ground, we are falling behind. So we keep going, even when everything in us is quietly asking us to stop. Add a family to the mix, and now there is the carpool and the endless activities. And the activities are good, but somewhere in there it becomes a comparison. Whose children are in more? Whose are in the more elite ones? Who is busier? And then what did you do this weekend? As though there should always be a list. The duties you got done, the obligations you showed up for. And if the list is short, we tell ourselves we were not being productive. I'm already exhausted just thinking about those days. And I say all of this as someone who has lived it. My husband and I lived the hustle and grind most of our adult lives. We got married young with nothing but a dead plant to our names. But I had a vision for my life, a successful marriage, and children who felt loved, supported, and understood. I wanted a comfortable life where money was not a constant worry, and I wanted to travel the world. So when we became entrepreneurs, we pushed harder and we shoved harder to get everything we wanted in life. that was simply how we understood it. You work more, you push more, and eventually you have what you set out to have. And don't get me wrong, we built a beautiful life that way. And I am proud of what we built. But somewhere along the line, the pushing stopped being a season and became who we were. There was always a next goal, a next thing to earn. And rest had always looked like laziness to me since I was a child. If I stopped, I felt I was not doing enough because that is what I was taught. And I think that one of the saddest parts of it all is that we get so caught up in the hustle and grind that we do not even see our own lives passing us by. Head down, keeping the pace, keeping the schedule, and the days just slip past while we are busy keeping up. Because we live under the time police, and the time police are all the people around us telling us when to move and how fast. But if I'm honest with you, the worst one was me. I was my own time police. There was a stretch when I was working so much that my husband finally said to me, "You work so much, I never see you." By this point, I was so stressed that I was in physical pain day in and day out, living on 3 hours of sleep a night. My husband, on the other hand, had relied on his physical strength all his life, pushing his body to work harder and harder until years of that pushing caused his body to start to fight back. And an immune disorder caused arthritis to set in, and he could no longer work the way he used to. Our bodies were screaming at us to slow down, to pay attention. You know that saying, if you have your health, you are a rich man, and if you do not, you are a poor man? But so often we push ourselves until disease and illness set in, ignoring every signal the body gives us. Then one day I woke up and said, no more. I want to be free. Free of the business that held us down. Free of the pressure of everyone around us. I wanted something new, something fresh. My husband was reluctant at first. But when we made the decision, we sold everything and we set out to find more freedom. And I wish I could tell you that walking away from all of it set me free for good. But the truth is, the time police just changed their uniform. Even after all of that, my husband still had to remind me. He would look at me and say, "You are in control of time, Naomi. No one but you." And on his way out the door each morning, he would gently remind me, honor yourself today. Do something for you. And oh, how I love that man. And it took me a long time to really hear him. Even with everything we had already changed on the outside, I was still learning. He taught me that I am allowed to carve out time for me and for what makes me happy. Because even this, what I am doing right now, creating content, sharing this very work with you, even this can become another version of the same wheel. There is always another video, another post, another thing they tell you that you have to do to stay seen and keep it all going. And if we are not careful, we hand our peace right over to it. It becomes its own kind of prison. And here is what we have to keep reminding ourselves. The very thing my husband kept trying to teach me. We are the ones in control. Not the algorithm, not the world telling us what we should or should not do. The moment we forget that, we are right back in line, shuffling forward the way we all do at the airport, waiting to be told when to move and when to stop, like cattle, just doing what we are told, because everyone around us is doing it too. And that is why the awareness matters so much, because you can be deep in the hustle and grind and not even know you are in it. and you cannot free yourself from something you cannot see. And here's the part that sits heaviest with me now. We passed it on. When our children were young, we handed them the same thing without meaning to. The same push, the same measure of yourself by what you get done. I never sat them down and taught it, but children learn what they watch us live. So now I'm very careful with how I speak to my adult children. I try to celebrate the small things and the qualities of who they are, not only the degree or the paycheck. My son will earn his bachelor's in the next couple of months, and my daughter chose not to go to university and has a very good job. And I want both of them to know that their worth is not in their career or in how much they can accomplish and juggle, but in the way they create space to truly live and enjoy their lives. I've always told my kids, I don't care what you do with your life, as long as you are healthy and happy. But I also know that we quietly pushed the other narrative through our actions. My daughter has slipped into her own version of hustle and grind, working hard to take care of herself. And I remind her often, do not forget to rest. I have come to believe that when one generation teaches the next that this is simply the way it is done, we hand the same tiredness down over and over. It does not stop unless someone stops it. And I do not think we were made for this. I think the natural thing of the soul is to breathe and to enjoy, and to sleep in a hammock underneath the Italian sky with a good book and your best mate curled up next to you. And no, I'm not talking about your partner. I'm talking about your pet. We were not made to work around the clock. We were made to have time to recover and to rest. And I think that is where the real joy is. The happiness we keep telling ourselves we will get to later. Once the work is finally done. Once we achieve more. Once we do more. Then, and only then, we tell ourselves we will finally find our comfort and our happiness. And sometimes that feeling of never being enough goes deeper than the culture around us. For many of us, it began much earlier, in the places where we first learned what earned approval, attention, and love. And sometimes that reaches all the way back to a father wound. Now, these Sunday heart-to-heart chats are a little different from my return to self conversations. These are the reflective ones, where we just sit together and think out loud. The return to self conversations go deeper into where these patterns actually begin. So if this stirred something in you and you want to understand where that never enough feeling really comes from, I sit with the father wound much fully over there. You'll find that conversation in the Return to Self Conversations playlist, linked right here on the channel. So this week I want to offer you one small thing to sit with. When you notice yourself rushing at the grocery store, at your desk, in your own home, see if you can pause and ask, am I doing this because it truly matters or because I have been taught that stopping is not allowed? And remind yourself, you are allowed to rest without earning it first. That freedom of choice has always been yours. And as you go about the rest of your day, may you remember to be kind to yourself. Because I truly believe that when we begin healing ourselves, we create more compassion, more understanding, and ultimately a better world for everyone. With so much love, dear soul, I will see you in the next one.